In this video, we are going to discuss how to pick out a crystal. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nicole. I'm an astrologer, card reader, and life coach. And this is my channel dedicated to all of those things, plus spiritual topics in general, including crystals. And if you would like to book a reading or a coaching session with me, you may do so at my website, NicoleBrenny.com. So this is a really exciting day. This is part of a little series on crystals. I'm really interested in Martian or Mars energy right now, as Mars is in the sign of Capricorn, where Mars has a lot of strength. Mars is said to be exalted in Capricorn, and Mars is the planet that rules over gemstones and crystals and beautiful things of the earth. So I really wanted to pay some respect for Mars and focus on this energy, and today is an Ace of Diamonds day on this day that I'm recording this video, and the Ace of Diamonds rules over crystals. And I've actually seen that quite literally in readings, so trust me on that one. I did a really kind of fun and silly video, basically just showing you guys my crystal collection that I posted just as a little soft introduction. But now I'm going to be very practical and show you how to pick out crystals, because you can literally get any crystal, but you need to know how to pick out the one for you. And so a lot of people, they will send me email messages and they're like, you know, I need a crystal for this A, B, C, and D. Can you help me do that? What's the best crystal for this? And usually I don't even know what to tell them, because my technique for picking out crystals is not really the technique that most people use. From my knowledge, I can't really speak for everyone, but I have a very unique way of picking out crystals. And since I get a lot of emails about which crystal is best for what, I think it's the time where I teach you guys how to pick out your own crystals. First off, I think that I've always been really kind of sensitive to crystals, so I don't know if this technique is going to work for everyone, but I personally think that it will work for everyone, but I think it will work best if you kind of have a natural sensitivity to crystals in general. So this could be you having a really nice Mars in your chart, or honestly just you having an interest in crystals. It doesn't really matter. If you have an interest in crystals and you're sensitive to them, it's going to be even stronger. But if you're watching this video, it's probably going to work for you too. So the first thing is, yes, you can study all day. You can learn about crystals. You can be like, you know, looking at a book, and you can know that, for instance, something that most people know is rose quartz is so good for self-love. So you can kind of memorize these meanings. Okay, rose quartz is really good for self-love. You can memorize amethyst is super good for psychic development. And you can just kind of keep this list rolling around in your mind. But the truth is that rose quartz is kind of good for probably like 40 different things. You know, when you actually look at a book and you read about rose quartz, you'll see that there's like a whole huge extensive list about it. And if you read about amethyst, there's like a whole huge extensive list. So when it comes to crystals, I really think that feeling works the best, which is actually super interesting now that I'm thinking about it, because Saturn rules over touch. And Mars is exalted in the sign of Saturn, Capricorn. So here we're seeing that link in astrology of how to connect with Mars, how to connect with the mineral world. We'll do that through Capricorn or through Saturn. So you kind of want to meet the mineral kingdom where it's at, you know, and actually feel it. So my best little tip is that instead of trying to intellectualize everything and trying to figure out through memorizing everything about crystals, my best technique is to go into a crystal shop and just start browsing everywhere. And I wish you guys could see how many crystals I'm surrounded by right now. You'd just laugh. But really just, you know, find a crystal that interests you, like this little blue one, and put it in your hand. And don't just put it in any hand, put it in your left hand, because your left hand is the most receptive hand. Your right hand is about giving, and your left hand is about receiving. At least that's what I've always learned, is to put it in your left hand. And maybe it's just your least dominant hand, but put it in your left hand, or, you know, because that's what seems to work for me. And then just walk around the store. So just walk around the store and see if you feel anything from it. Okay, if you're really sensitive to crystals, you're going to feel something from it. It'll be heat, it'll be a tiny bit of warmth, it'll be tingling, it'll be electricity. It might even be something so weird that you can't even really describe what it feels like. But if you're feeling something off of that crystal and it feels pleasant, then you can put this crystal in your little basket to buy it later. Then if you walk around and don't really feel anything, it's probably not the crystal for you. But walk around for a long enough time where you pretty much forget about the crystal, where you're really not thinking about the crystal anymore, that it's not even on your mind. And then see at that point, if you've already passed that point and you're not really feeling anything, then it's really not the crystal for you. So then do it with another one. You find another really interesting crystal, right? Put it in your left hand and then walk around for a while and see if you feel anything. And again, this crystal might feel completely different. You might feel something, but it might feel a little off or a little bit weird. And that's probably not really the crystal for you either. It should be a crystal that makes you elevate in some way. So I always think of crystals as having like a higher frequency or a higher vibration than we have. And so the crystals that are meant for us are at a frequency that's a little bit higher than we are, that when we interact with the crystal, we touch it, we have it around us, that we can kind of connect with that energy and elevate ourselves to that energy or attune to that energy to heal us. So you want to really be sensitive to what that attunement is for you. So maybe you don't feel anything with this crystal, so then you put this crystal back. And you just continue with that process, and don't put two crystals in your hand, just put one crystal in your hand. And usually people are like, okay, you put one crystal in your right hand, one crystal in your left hand, but honestly, your left hand is going to be the most receptive. So just be patient, take a whole afternoon to buy crystals if you need to, and wait until you are pretty much satisfied with the number of crystals you have, with the budget you have, whatever it is. There's one problem with this method, and that is that some people are not really going to feel anything from the crystals. That's fine, but if you're a sensitive person like I am, I'm extremely sensitive to crystals. I'm definitely 100% going to feel something from a crystal if it's meant for me. This is the absolute number one best technique for you. So go for it. And if you don't know if you feel anything from crystals, you need to watch my cleansing crystals video, which I will be posting as a part of this series. And then you will actually be able to legitimately know if you're sensitive to crystals or not. But even just to pick out crystals like this, you have to be pretty sensitive. Still give it a try, especially the first time that you go crystal shopping. And if you spend like an hour in the store or even just whatever your time limit is and you still haven't found a crystal, then just go with whatever you're most drawn to, okay? Because obviously you're there to buy a crystal, you want to buy a crystal. Maybe you're just not that sensitive, which is not a good or a bad thing. I'm not some more spiritually elevated person just because I can feel crystals. It's just part of my makeup, okay? So don't judge yourself based off of that, but just pick out whatever crystals you're drawn to. So you might really be drawn to this red stone. So, just put it in your basket. Or for some reason, this is the most boring looking stone in the whole store, but it's the only one that you just keep wanting to hold. Like you can't let go of it. You're just like, oh, there's something about this. It's like a 50 cent stone, but I'm just going to take it anyways. So just go with your instinct, go with your budget, and then be done with it. So in either case, either you're in group A that's like, totally sensitive, like you're feeling this crazy pulse of energy going through you, you're starting to feel high. Like these are the type of experiences that I have with crystals. Like I feel like hot flashes and I feel super high, like I'm on drugs, or I feel like literally like this pulsation from these crystals. And I know there are some of you that do this too because you've emailed me and told me. So either you're in that group or either you're in this group that's like, I don't feel anything, like I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't even know if crystals are real. You've picked out some crystals, right? So if either you're in that group or the second group, you've picked out your crystals, that's good enough. So now you're done. This is a method that I use, and 100% of the time, what happens next is always what happens. So once you go home and you have your crystals, make sure that you get these little cards that come with them. So like here's a little card about Moonstone. I have like this protective dog crystal that I keep by my bed. That's Moonstone. So I'm pretty sure that this is the card that came with that. Keep the card that says what it's for. I never read these when I am there, but I keep the card and then read what the card says. Or if the card that you got has just the name on it, or you just wrote the name of the crystal down, which you should always write the names of the crystals down, then you have the name of it, and now the really fun part comes is where you go online or you go through your crystal books and then you look up the stones that you picked out. So you might find that you picked out Moonstone, and now you get to read about Moonstone. So Moonstone says, a stone of inspiration, passion, and vision. Moonstone promotes intuition and success, a powerful stone with creative insight and achievement. This is a really, really short description, but when I go and read about crystals, I spend 3 hours researching one crystal. But every time that I've read about the different descriptions of the crystals, 100% of the time it's been exactly what I needed. I've only ever gotten Moonstone during times when I'm super passionate about my career and putting all of my energy into my career. And I've only ever picked out rhodochrosite when I really wanted to fall in love and I really wanted to meet my soulmate and I just really wanted to have that experience. And let's see, I'll try to pick another one. I only ever picked out bloodstone once, because I only have one bloodstone, when I really needed intense healing and when I was going through a movement and change. So I actually got this when I was making a really big move across the country. That's when I last got bloodstone, and I was really needing intense healing actually on a physical level during that time. So it was 100% correct. Like other periods of my life, I wasn't going through movement, I wasn't going through change, I wasn't going through health difficulties, but this was a card of healing serious health issues, and I was really not feeling great when I picked out that stone. So you think oh, it's going to be so vague, it can apply to anyone or any circumstance, but trust me, you will be amazed. If you're really sensitive to the crystals, you'll be amazed. If you're just drawn to crystals, you'll be amazed. I have taken so many of my friends crystal shopping for their first time. Some of them felt things, some of them didn't. 100% of them always picked out crystals that were meant for them. And I have handpicked crystals for people multiple times as gifts. I actually have purchased a lot of crystals as gifts for people, but also for clients. And every single time, without needing to read a book and without needing to use logic, which is funny because Mars is logic, I was able to really pick out the exact crystal for the people. But Mars is exalted in Capricorn, Saturn sign. Mars isn't not exalted in Scorpio or Aries. So we're not using logic to connect with Mars. We're using Saturn, and Saturn is what? Saturn is touch, feeling. Okay? Even if you're using your brain, to pick out crystals or whatever, I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to end up using your Mars to pick out a crystal, because if you're not using your touch with this exalted ability to pick out crystals, you're going to use your Mars. You're going to use your Scorpio and your Aries Mars, which is Mars rules over sight. So you're going to use your sight. You're going to say, that crystal looks good. It looks like the one for me, and you'll still do an excellent job. So that is how you pick out crystals. Have you guys ever tried this method? Have you ever experienced the crystal pulse? Please let me know below. And I actually would be curious to know which emoji is the best for representing crystals. And that is all for today. So please give this a thumbs up if you learned something, or if you're a huge crystal fan like I am. And I will see you guys in my next video, where I discuss how to cleanse crystals. A very important video, and I will see you then.